and welcome again to the 13th and very special episode of the Pondwater Dave Show. As always, I am joined by the man who counted Ric Flair's last match. Oh, I didn't tell you who I was. I'm Justin Davis. This is not Ronnie Millsap. This is actually
Ronnie Millsap.
if you're watching on the video version, I have sunglasses on because I have contracted an eye infection, and I didn't want to look like Ogre on here. But Pondwater Dave, the man who counted Ric Flair's last match. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, Ronnie Millsap.
I knew Ronnie Millsap would pop you if I could
dead right out of the gate.
We also have, of course, the first lady of the Arn Anderson fan club, live from Kentucky, Miss Amy Vaughn. How are you? I know you're feeling better after your little bout of illness last week.
Goodness, yes, I'm feeling much better, and I'm really excited. We have some pretty cool guests today.
Yes, we do, and I want to get to them real quick. We have live from the state of where? Texas?
Texas.
Yes, that's what I thought. I knew you were from there. I didn't know if you still lived there. Denovias Mac and his lovely daughter, who is almost 10 years old. Kaya, how are you guys doing today?
Good.
Doing well, man. Doing well. Appreciate it having us.
Well, we really want to thank both of you for coming on with us and doing a little Royal Rumble review. We did a preview last week. We're always excited for that. Kaya, did you watch the Royal Rumble?
Yes, sir. I was there.
Well, I think you're the person that everyone wants to hear their opinion on it. What do you think? What do you think about the girls' Royal Rumble first?
Well, I felt like the whole girl Royal Rumble was like awesome because I liked how they did it and how they like set it up.
Yeah, the ending was pretty cool with them all on the outside there, right? And then the mist got used and hit the wrong person, and I thought that was a fun ending to that. What do you think about the men's one? Did you like the winner of the men's Royal Rumble?
Yes. Yes, I was voting for him. I was voting for Cody from the beginning because he was my number for.
I got because you picked his number in the yes. Well, you got a good number then, didn't you?
Oh, lucky girl. That's awesome. I think we're in good company because I'm pretty sure all three of us and JB picked Cody to win. You didn't pick Cody to win?
Dave did not.
Did not pick Cody to win.
Who'd you pick? Oh, Seth, you picked
Sami Zayn.
My guy wasn't even in it.
That's how good Dave is, Kaya. He picked someone that wasn't even in the Royal Rumble.
Oh,
I was going for Seth.
You're still in good company with me and Justin. So,
well, like I said, we're going to review the Royal Rumble. Denovias and Kaya, of course, we really appreciate having you on. I know Denovias has been a top guy for a long time. We've had multiple experiences in multiple places all over the country together, and it's always a fun time to hang out with you. And so I'm excited to have you on here with the three of us tonight.
Oh, appreciate you having us. It's going to be a great time.
All right, well, let's get into it. We had, of course, the Royal Rumble live from San Antonio Saturday night. And I guess from what I read, I think it was the highest rated Royal Rumble of all time, Dave. Did you see that?
I did see that.
And it's not surprising because it is more accessible, of course, than it's ever been. But it's been on Peacock for, 10 years now or longer?
Well, Peacock's only been around for...
Well, it's been on the network.
You're talking about with being on the network. Yeah. Well, I think we're 10 years in on the WWE network concept.
Yeah, but I think now it being on Peacock makes it even more accessible to people that, wouldn't buy a pay-per-view, wouldn't buy the network. But hey, I got Peacock, the Royal Rumble's on, let's watch it. Yeah, I think that picks that rating up a lot. Would you think so, Dave?
I think it really did, and there just was a lot of interest in this one, and I mean, driven by Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
I think it was largely driven by Cody Rhodes, but I don't want to discount what Sami and the Bloodline are doing too.
Oh, absolutely.
There was a lot of interest in what was going to happen on this premium live event, as they like
now.
I
think, and Amy, I was going to ask you, I like how the WWE did it by announcing his return, because everyone kind of knew he was coming back at Royal Rumble. I'm talking about Pronounce Pal. I'm talking about Cody Rhodes, of course. But you watched it to see if he would win. Yes, you knew he was coming. That's not the surprise. The surprise is he going to win it or not, right?
Exactly. And I agree with what Dave was saying. I think Cody Rhodes definitely drove a lot of people to want to see exactly what happened. And I do think the bloodline, again, especially with them going against Kevin Owens and that story that they were portraying with Sami Zayn, I think it was a really great pay-per-view. And, we've talked about this before. The Royal Rumble is such a unique setup, the way they do that. And then they have two now. They have the women and the men's, and you can create so many different matches and setups coming out of the Rumble. People with numbers that are similar that never get to interact. All of a sudden, they're partners, or they're beating each other up, or they help each other eliminate somebody. So I really think that, just the Royal Rumble itself is such a cool event. And
It's
I
the
definitely
ultimate
think,
gimmick pay-per-view, right? It's the ultimate
yes,
pay-per-view.
yes, definitely.
We also got to keep in mind too that they did an excellent job teasing surprises. I mean, nobody knew. They said just enough about The Rock's not in shape, so everybody thought The Rock was going to be there. And then Stone Cold had been putting out workout videos, so now.
And
right,
they showed The Rock's mom being in the crowd, which I thought.
Oh yes,
right.
I thought, and we'll get to this, but I was impressed with how they sold that whole angle without actually telling it, because Michael Cole was saying, who's going to come out? Obviously trying to build that, The Rock's going to come out. And then it never happened. And I just thought really the whole pay-per-view overall, top to bottom, was fantastic. Denovias and Kaya, what's your opinions on it?
I feel like it was a great and awesome experience going.
Okay, yeah.
Did you like sitting there? Like, did it feel like a long time, or did you feel like, what do you mean it's time to go home, Dad? It was great.
I felt like it was something that you can't take your eyes off.
Did y'all have any matches before they went on air? Were there dark matches?
There was not. No, it was just a lot of just crowd anticipation and going around. Of course, you had I remember when me and Hickson, we went to and my son Jalen, we all went to WrestleMania. What was this, 32? I want to say in Orlando, or it might have been, I don't remember if it was 32 or not.
33 Orlando.
I know it's close, yeah. So we went to that one, and I remember in the crowd they were doing they had these guys dressed up as a referee, and they were going around having little mini matches and counting 1, 2, 3. So that was basically the excitement they were having at the venue. But the pre-show was pretty cool. We got to go by there. As far as the Royal Rumble match itself, it was pretty good. I mean, I got rumors. I had heard the insiders that it was going to be the men's Royal Rumble first, so that was kind of anticipating. But yeah, the way they set it up, it was not too bad. I mean, I still don't think Cody's the winner. I mean, there was only 29 people.
Oh my God.
Well, I did forget to mention that Denovias and Kaya were at the pay-per-view there, the Royal Rumble in San Antonio. Kaya, was this your first pay-per-view you've been to?
No, I've been to a few.
No, that's
She's
what I thought.
seasoned.
She's seasoned.
Yes, she's a
I
seasoned
just want to
wrestling fan.
admit, Kaya, I'm 38 years old, and I went to my first pay-per-view last summer. So you're way ahead of me right now, thanks to the good dad that you got sitting over there beside you. My dad only brought me to a house show in Cincinnati in 1990, but let's not discuss that.
Hey, it's more than what my dad brought me to, so you got one up on me there, Justin.
Now,
My
Denovias
dad
and
told
Kaya,
my mom to take us.
did you all do any meet and greets beforehand? I feel like they were having a lot, or it seemed like to me they had seeing pictures, they kind of had the big souvenirs and different things like that, and things that you could see on display. Access, thank you. Did you all get to do any of that? Do any meet and greets?
When we got in, we flew in from up here in Dallas to San Antonio. When we got in, we immediately went to the hotel room, and then we met up with John and Coach Josh Rosenbaum. and they were at the mall, and that's where WrestleCon was at. So when we got in there, and they had closed it off at that point because it was space limited. So we went and got something to eat, and afterwards, we went over there and got to go in and see. We saw like Arn Anderson. We saw the Steiner brothers.
Yeah. You just made Amy really jealous with that, Kaya.
Huh? Who else did you see?
Well, at the hotel.
We saw Lita, of course. Oh yeah,
Cool.
No, we'll talk about that one. Yeah, and then we saw like inside the it was saw Maureen, of course, from Pro Wrestling Tees and whatnot. And then who else was there? Matt Hardy, Mick Foley was there. Ran up on there's a lot of people there. Because I said, Ron Simmons, of course, he was there. And then over there in the far corner was who long lines for Mick Foley, I want to say, and DDP. So I didn't get over that side. I just because the lines were just too long. I was just going in and say hello to people.
Well, and those two guys, DDP and Mick Foley, love to give their fans a lot of attention. So those lines get long because they take so much time with each person too, which is awesome of both those good guys to do that. But let's start off with the Royal Rumble and what we actually started off with. We had
Hold on just a second, Justin. I got a question for Denovias. Tell us about how it. Let me try again. I watch wrestling differently when I watch it with my grandkids. That's our thing. I mean, when they get here, it's Papa. Is wrestling on tonight? And if it's not on, they know that it's on the DVR or on demand. So I mean, that's what we're doing. And they're always wanting to watch wrestling with me, and I enjoy it much more. I'm almost watching it through their eyes. I mean, Maddie's 12, Patrick's 9, 10, 9.
It's almost like you get to watch
growing
it
so fast.
Like
but I mean, I get more out of it when I watch with my grandkids. Is that the experience that you share with Kaya?
It is, because it first started with Jalen, my oldest. When I came into his life, he was a big wrestling fan already. So that was kind of like a bond we already had there, so to see that it was Kaya when she was born, because she would see me and Jalen watching all the time. And then she would come around doing like the little moves when we were going to restaurant. She would do like the Daniel Bryan. She was like, yes. So she was young. She would go around the house like, yes. And so me and Jalen.
Daddy buying pizza? Yes. So yeah. So and then also Jalen's favorite wrestler was John Cena. Here comes Kaya. So
Who's your favorite now, Kaya?
Who's your favorite now?
Still John Cena.
It's still John Cena.
Yes.
Well, she got a new women wrestler too.
Bianca.
Oh yeah. You know what? She might be my new favorite too. I agree with you on that, Kaya.
But yeah, it's just getting to experience both of it with them. I've taken Jalen to WrestleMania a couple times. I took her to her first one last year, actually. So I mean, it's just it's awesome to do that. Like I said, I didn't get to experience that when I was younger, so to have them back in there is just a way for us to connect and
that's awesome. That's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah.
So Kaya, I got a question. How good are you on Royal Rumble trivia? Or just is it Royal Rumble trivia, Amy, or is it different trivia this week?
It's different trivia.
I'm sorry. Well, just wrestling trivia in general then, Kaya. We're about to test you, okay?
I'm middle.
I think this will be real interesting.
Amy's trivia of the week. What do you got for us this week, Amy?
All right. So, in honor of our guests, we are doing trivia from the WWE Smackdown that aired March 1st, 2013. So the day Kaya was born, I don't know if she was born in the morning or afternoon, if Dad got to watch or not, but
nighttime. Yep.
So okay, Dad did not get to watch this episode. So
Smackdown, you said?
Do what?
2013 Smackdown?
March 1st.
I was okay, and I guarantee she knows more about it than I will. So let's see.
All
That is-
right. First question. Where was SmackDown held on this day? Lexington, Kentucky, Biloxi, Mississippi, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, or Albany, New York? We'll let our guests guess first.
I'm saying Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay. Lexington, Dave, Justin?
I'm gonna say Oklahoma just because I feel like that's closest to her, and I hope that's where it is.
I'm gonna say Oklahoma. Also, I'm trying to think where WrestleMania was that year. I'm going with Oklahoma.
You both are correct. It was Oklahoma City.
I've been
Now-
hot.
Yes. Good job.
Well, the Biloxi, Mississippi was the week before. And then actually Albany, New York was the week after. And I'm from Kentucky, so I just picked Lexington. So,
I
but
could
that's
hear
quite
the
a,
enthusiasm when you said it.
but that's quite the loop. Oklahoma, go from Mississippi to Oklahoma to go to New York. So, I mean, that was quite the travel that they did. All right.
In the 80s. Trust me.
Yeah, really. So on this show, the main event for this night was Randy Orton versus who? Was it The Big Show, Kane, Daniel Bryan, or a member of the Shield?
In 2013. Go ahead, Kai.
2013.
Daniel Bryan.
That's fine.
Okay.
Oh, I agree with the Miss Kaya.
I think so too, because it was on the road to WrestleMania, and I think they were trying to put him up against big odds.
Well, you are all wrong.
Oh.
It was Randy Orton versus The Big Show.
Oh.
It's funny, my oldest just said that too.
Kane and Daniel Bryan were part of Team Hell No at this time.
Is there anything that happened on this show that might trigger our memory? Is it like, or just you went for because it was for you just went solely on the date?
I went solely on the date.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
But I mean, they're general questions. I mean, like I'm not asking you what color was Daniel Bryan's, tights or his boots or anything. But who was the reigning world heavyweight champion at this time? So March of 2013, who was the world heavyweight champion? Was it Daniel Bryan, Alberto Del Rio, Dolph Ziggler, or The Big Show?
I'm going to say Alberto.
That's what I'm going with. That was, yeah.
What you thinking, girlfriend?
Alberto too.
You are all correct. It was Alberto Del Rio.
He's going to lose it. He lost it, but he lost it at the pay-per-view before WrestleMania, did he? Or he didn't go into WrestleMania champion, did he?
No, I don't think he did. I don't think he ever was champion in WrestleMania. Well, WWE champion. He might have been like United States at one point, but I don't think he ever went there.
I have to think about that. But he defeated The Big Show on a January 11th SmackDown episode to win the heavyweight champion. I'm trying to remember. I feel like he wrestled Dolph Ziggler for it, but I don't know if that was at WrestleMania. I don't know. We'll have to. I don't remember that part. Who was the general manager of SmackDown at this time? Was it Booker T, Teddy Long, Vicky Guerrero, or John Laurinaitis?
Teddy
Long.
Teddy Long. Okay. What you think, Justin?
I'm gonna go with John Laurinaitis.
Okay.
I'm going with Vicky.
You are all wrong. It was Booker T.
Wow.
Booker T was the Raw or the SmackDown general manager, Vicky Guerrero took over after Booker T, and John Laurinaitis was the general manager right before Booker T. So it was Booker T. Chris Jericho joined the first ever social media SmackDown via Skype, live from somewhere where his band Fozzy was touring. Okay. So was he joining the show on Skype from England, Canada, Australia, or Japan?
Japan.
Where you always want to be at.
England.
All right. So we got England, Japan,
Australia.
Australia. What'd you say?
We're
What'd you
all
say?
wrong.
It was Australia. Good job.
That is coming through.
That was true.
First one he's got right in 3 weeks.
All right. Who were the tag team champions at this time? Was it the Primetime Players, Team Hell No, The Shield, or Goldust and Cody Rhodes?
Who were the what was the question fully?
Who were the tag team champions at this time?
The Shield, Goldust, and Cody. Who else did you say?
The Primetime Players, Team Hell No, The Shield, and Goldust and Cody Rhodes.
I think Team Hell No.
Okay.
I think it's a Shield.
Well, I promised to not cuss on this show, and Kaya already did. So I'm gonna,
Her mom looked up, was like,
I'm gonna go with Cody and Goldust just because. Why not? He won the Royal Rumble this week, so I'm gonna pick him right here.
Pick them, huh? It was actually Team Hell No.
yeah.
They were the tag team champions. They actually, on this show, they had a match against the Primetime Players, and it was a specialty match for whatever reason. You know how Bryan and Daniel Bryan and Kane were always like, whatever, one-upping each other, and we're always fighting or whatever. But anyway, so the specialty match was Bryan had to have his arm tied around his back, and Kane had to wear a hood against Primetime Players. And it must have been non-title because the Primetime Players won. So,
And they are.
all right. What?
I do not remember who the Primetime Players are.
Titus O'Neil and Darren Young.
Yep.
Okay.
It sounds like he's on third base for the Pirates in 1988. Like who's there? All right, next question.
How many days are between this SmackDown episode and WrestleMania 30?
Ooh.
I heard that said the other day.
34.
What is it, Dave?
34.
34?
You said how many days?
Justin he looks.
I'm looking in the air. Listen, there's like.
It's just so funny. I'm just sorry. That was just you just
42, and God bless you, Jackie Robinson. That's what I'm gonna say. 42.
42, 34. How many days are between this SmackDown episode and WrestleMania 30?
WrestleMania 30. That's not this WrestleMania. Long time ago. Oh crap! I was thinking you
You thought it was 40 days from 2013 to now?
I was thinking the next WrestleMania. How many days between this and the next WrestleMania?
Oh, so you think it's a day?
Okay, I'm going to give y'all the answer because I don't know if the math is ever going to get there, right? Denovias, what do you teach? Do you teach math?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I should make you do this.
I just keep messing with Justin. It keeps getting better.
Do you have a guess, Kaya?
Yes, 40. I'm
40.
She wants the under. She's like Price is Right.
Well,
undercut you.
yeah,
$41.
$1, $1, $1.
43.
Actually, this was a trick question, and Justin was kind of onto it because 2013 was WrestleMania 29. So I was asking you what WrestleMania 30, which would have been 2014, and it would have been 401 days.
Oh. Gotcha.
Oh, you were close.
on the go.
That's right. WrestleMania 30. Well, this was a good idea when I was doing it yesterday. When I was
Sounds
putting this
mean.
together.
It sounds really mean.
Well, I
She's
get
10.
told.
She's 10.
No,
You're picking
I
on
wasn't.
kids.
No, I was not picking on kids. Well, I
Adult.
get told that your trivia is so easy. So I was really trying to think about something.
Who told you your trivia is easy? Ed?
Everybody.
He's Googling every time you answer a question, ask a question. Of course it's easy for Ed.
Yeah. Ed, Ed knows it all.
That's true. But WrestleMania 30 was held April 6, 2014, just so we all know. All right. Who was the Intercontinental Champion at this time?
Cody.
I was going to give you choices.
I need choices.
I need them, but
The Miz, Kofi Kingston, Cesaro, or Wade Barrett?
The Miz, Kofi Kingston, Cesaro, or Wade Barrett.
Yeah.
Wade Barrett.
Okay, Kaya said Wade Barrett.
I'm with her because Wade Barrett would never be in this group without that if he's not the answer. So I'm going with Kaya on that.
I'm going with Kaya too because I thought Wade Barrett.
You are all correct. It was
And she
Wade
picked it all
Barrett.
by herself. I didn't even say anything. to her.
Awesome. He beat Kofi Kingston for the title. And then Wade Barrett was actually beat at WrestleMania 29 by The Miz. But then he won it back the next day at Raw. Okay, last question. Super easy because you all should get this. Who is Kaya's favorite wrestler?
Stephanie says yell down the hall. She knows.
I love her.
Justin, what do you think?
Who is Kaya's favorite wrestler?
Yes.
Well, she's told me two answers, I guess.
Do you need to hear the multiple choice?
Yeah, sure.
She
Okay.
doubled down on John Cena.
I mean, Dave's telling me John Cena, and I got Denovias telling me Bryan Danielson. I don't know which one to pick. I'm gonna go with Bryan Danielson. I trust Denovias more than Dave, of course.
Well, Denovias is the one who told me this answer, and it was John Cena. That's what he told me.
I mean,
And she did
I'm sorry.
say,
Sorry, Joe. Sorry.
and she did say that
I feel like
a couple
Denovias
times.
is trying to make me screw up. He's like the referees that were at the Bengals game last weekend.
Oh Lord!
Oh, here it comes.
Bad game.
All right, so I'll try not to make trivia as hard. I'm sorry. I thought that was fun though. I thought we
It
talking
was.
about the day she was born,
That's pretty
what was
awesome.
going on in wrestling history. That
That
was
was a
cool.
nice little twist, Amy. Good job.
Yeah, they got to keep it fresh, So, and now we all know, so we can, if we ever get asked questions, we all know. Kaya, you know what was going on in wrestling the day you were born.
And that was funny because I didn't even think about that. Like Smackdown being that day. That day was such a bliss. I tell you, when I got the news that her mom was going into labor and her water broke, everybody was telling me, go ahead and go to the hospital. I was at work. I went completely opposite to the building, going to the back way. They're like, no, this way. I'm like, oh. And then on my way to the hospital, I decided to stop at the mall. I'm like, I don't know, what am I doing? It was just everything just hit me all at once. But
I bet. I know. Everything was going to change as soon as now that water broke,
Oh, yeah.
your life was going to look completely different the next day. So
It was funny with my first one when the water broke. She called, told me her water broke, and I said I got all excited. I'm at work. I was like, all right, get so and so, take you to the hospital. As soon as I'll get over to the hospital. And no, we called the doctor. He said he's got plans tonight that he'd meet us at the hospital at 6 a.m.
your first one, is that what you
Yes.
said?
You said you got plans.
He had plans.
Yeah.
So if unless she just had to, we'd do it. We'd be there at 6 a.m. It would be fine. Because I thought water broke, you got to go.
Right. So how long from when she got to the hospital did she have the baby?
11:35 that night.
Yeah. Sometimes those first ones, your body doesn't really know what's going on, I guess. So it takes it some time.
Yeah.
After that, it gets a little bit more in tune. It moves a little bit faster.
Dave was such a small baby. It was 2 days later before his mom realized she had him. That's a whole nother-
Pondwater.
I was a big baby.
Kai, because that's expressing.
She's trying to figure out how that works. Oh,
Don't listen to me, Kaya. That's the first thing your dad should have told you before you came on this show. So is our
He's
trivia
bitter.
done, Amy?
He's bitter because he's from Cincinnati, and
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't know though. That was
Hey.
we're not going to get too much into it, and I don't really care who wins what, but that fourth quarter was really weird. Like, what in the world was going on?
I actually didn't tell you, Dave. I didn't dress up as Ronnie Millsap. I came as the referees at the Bengals game last week. All right. Do we want to
sound
talk
like
about?
a Cowboys fan.
Do we want to talk about the Royal Rumble now? Are we done with trivia, Amy? We
Yes,
good?
we're done with
Okay.
trivia.
All right. Let's move on to the 2023 Royal. And I wanted to do it like Vince used to do it, and then announce all the, with Cody Rhodes.
I thought he had a
I
stroke.
would love that. I love that.
Yeah, I thought he had a stroke.
All right.
That's funny.
Our first match, Bray Wyatt. Was that the first match?
No, the first one was the men's
Men's
Royal
Rumble.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm trying to go in order, and that's not what we have here. Yeah. First match was the men's rumble. And I'm sorry, I didn't get to watch this live. I was refereeing an hour and 40 minutes away. And by the time I got home, it was the end. And I watched the last match and then wait 2 hours for the post stuff to be done before I could rewatch it. So I didn't get to really pay attention to the order of the show. I just but yeah, the men's Royal Rumble match. Amy, I'll start with you. What'd you think about the men's Royal Rumble match?
No, I thought it was good. I thought that it was a great way to use Gunther, Walter, whoever. I thought if he wasn't going to win, that was a fabulous way to show him off and really project him. By the way, I did win that.
Okay.
Because I did win that. He did have the most people that he threw out. So just so we know.
Previewed that theory that they might. I know I brought up that they might use Braun Breaker in that spot to elevate him, and I like that they used the Intercontinental Champion Gunther to. I think that's what elevates someone. You put the Intercontinental title on him for a while now. He's been doing great with that, and now you make him go in first and go out last.
Mm-hmm. And he went like toe to toe to Brock, and he was like standing. Like he was in the again. That allows those kind of face-offs and things to happen that you may not normally see, but he got to go toe-to-toe with everybody. I mean, I was surprised that there wasn't that many of surprises. I mean, there wasn't that many from NXT. I don't know if there was any. Was there anybody from NXT?
I was surprised we didn't get a couple that we thought about, the Matt Carter, the Nick Aldises that we thought were possibilities that didn't happen, but
right. I mean, besides Booker T,
that's
I don't really think there was anybody.
our bets. He was my #1 pick.
Well, we had
Hey, I do
Logan
want.
Paul.
Yeah,
Well, yes, and Logan Paul, which
I
we
did-
thought he was injured. We talked about him.
but
Um,
he wasn't injured. He was my pick. But I don't know. Did I pick him to actually be a surprise? I might have. I don't remember.
No,
I
you
do want
picked.
to
Okay,
go
I
ahead.
did.
I'm sorry.
But I didn't count him as a surprise because he's on the current roster. So I don't know if he's someone we could have picked because it was supposed to be someone that wasn't on the roster.
Well, I just want to say this right. I know what both of you all, I'm not sure about JB, but I know what both of you all normally drink. So don't be trying when I have to buy the first round because I lost this bet. Don't be trying to go top shelf. I know you're Evan Williams all day, and
Oh,
I'll get you that first time.
I
You don't
did
get no doubles, Dave. I've seen you with beer. You're good. So I just want that clear now. So
Woodford Reserve now, so I just didn't know if you knew that.
I'm Buffalo Trace guy.
oh. Like I said, I know what y'all drink. So if I buy the first round, that's what I'm buying y'all, not what you think you want. No.
Well,
So overall, though, you saying surprised that we didn't have as many surprises, so to speak, but you was really happy with what they did with Gunther or Gunther or whatever they call him, and then obviously you and I picked the winner, so that was really no surprise for us there.
Definitely. I wanted to ask Denovias and Kaya. So we all knew Cody Rhodes was coming back. So, like, did you all feel like the anticipation of every person that came out, like you're thinking, is this Cody? Is this Cody? Or like, was it like that? Or did it like when he didn't come out 1 and 2, did it kind of, drop off a little bit and then start picking up when you got in the 20s? Like, okay, when's he coming? When's he coming? When's he coming?
I kind of had a feeling he would come when I guess at the right time, and I was like, and I knew he was gonna I knew it was gonna be Steph Steph Rollins or Cody because they're both good players. I mean, good
Cool.
was Brock a
Oh,
surprise
yeah.
for y'all?
Was who?
I mean, was it? I mean, when Brock came into the match, did the crowd go nuts or?
Oh yeah, they popped big time. It was
Sometimes it's hard to gauge on when you're watching on TV because they pop noise.
yeah, because he came so early, so it popped real loud for him. Never thought he'd be like a later. Like for me, when I had a feeling that Cody was gonna come in at 3. So when that happened, that's when that anticipation started kicking in. So every video that I took, I haven't posted it yet. I'm like, oh, it's like 3. Like, here's come Cody, and then somebody else coming. Oh, turn the phone off. So, but I have like all these videos, like I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna come now, but yeah.
I'm like you. I thought he was going to come in 3 because I thought he was. I've said it. He likes to cosplay Ric Flair.
Yeah, and that's what I thought he had said at one point, or maybe I heard it ramblings around that he was gonna come in at 3. So when that didn't happen, I'm like, okay, then I'm obviously, you're like, okay, 28 didn't come, 29, okay, yeah, he's 30th pick. So
He's recuperated, but probably don't want to make him go in there that long right now. You know what I mean?
right, and see, they said it was a rumor saying that he came back a little earlier than he should have, like he wasn't totally clear. I think back to John Cena when he was in Madison Square Garden, he wasn't fully healed, but he came in number 30 and won it. And then you didn't see him back in there. So I kind of think that was kind of like the play off of it.
And I agree with what Kaya said. They are players. That's a good way to describe them. Players.
That's right. I did also like at the very end, like when you had Cody and Gunther, like it wasn't just like a couple slaps. I mean, they went for like 4 or 5. It was like a wrestling match between them at the end. And so I thought that kind of built anticipation too, because, you're like, okay, are they going to let Gunther, he's been, you see this person who's been in the whole time. Like, is that maybe a trajectory or is Cody, I like that. I kind of like how they really went after each other and had a good. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how long it was. Like a 5, 6. It wasn't like the number 30 came out and 30 seconds later it's over. I mean, it was something cool. Again, you get to see people who don't normally interact or wrestle each other, kind of see how they would be. And you're like, it helps you anticipate, like, I wouldn't mind seeing that matchup because if, like, we think Cody goes on and wins, obviously at WrestleMania, Cody's going to have other.
That's your SummerSlam matchup.
It could definitely be, I mean, he's got to have other matchups. So definitely. And we got a little tease at the Royal Rumble. So I like that.
Gunther's really over. I mean, the Imperium as well. Like I've been a fan of them since they was in NXT, and it's funny because after we left the Royal Rumble, we went back to our hotel rooms. We see the other two dudes from Imperium in the lobby next to like they were staying in our hotel room as well.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
There wasn't enough surprises for me. I was disappointed in this Rumble. I feel like it was storyline driven Rumble. That was the goal for this Rumble, was to tell stories. I need more surprises. That's what I like about the Royal Rumble. And we didn't get any. I mean, Booker T works there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was in the building. I mean, he's on commentary. I mean, the pre-show. Logan Paul, I didn't know if y'all said he's on the roster. I didn't know he was on the roster. I got excited to see Logan Paul there, and my memory.
The last two pay-per-views, to me, that's kind of on the roster.
Well, he's an attraction, and his spot with Ricochet was incredible. Made no sense. Zero sense. But I mean, when they jumped, I want to hear that screeching music from Wonder Woman.
Yes.
I mean, because it looks like, I mean, even when he did that to Roman, when he did that and you saw him flying with his fist, it looks like something out of a superhero movie. And I asked Road Dogg yesterday, how is this guy so good, so quick? I mean, he's just really got it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited anytime Logan Paul shows up. And that was my big takeaway. I felt like I was disappointed because Cody didn't come in at third. Cody coming in at 30th feels like, okay, Cody's going to be going for the world title. There's no suspense here. I was like, this is the story, so we got to do this to do this. So Cody coming in at 30 and winning, not to discount the performance, because I do think that Gunther comes out a lot bigger than he was when he went in. I mean, they've really been building him well, and this really elevate. I mean, so we got Gunther over even more. We put him face to face with Brock, so we teased that could happen. And I think we might get Seth and Logan Paul. I kind of got that vibe. So I felt like we did a lot of housekeeping in this men's Rumble match. But the Logan Paul spot is what saved it for me, and I give it 3 jars.
Hey,
I mean, I'm not impressed with the match. I mean, but it is what it is.
I got you. I kind of agree with that assessment. I do want to make a hot take. Listen to that, because I have been really high on Logan Paul since I've seen him. I've seen him live at SummerSlam. I think Logan Paul, he works enough, meaning he wants to work enough in the WWE, can be the biggest baby face since Stone Cold Steve Austin in this company. And I know I'm overstepping Miss Kaya's John Cena, but I think Logan be even a better baby face and bigger for the company and make the company more money than John Cena even did.
Well, he'd be a great heel too, because I saw him at WrestleMania last year. And I just kind of had the attitude of that I always get about outsiders that come in.
The only reason I think he'd be a better babyface is because if to get those outside eyes, those people love him. They want to see him being the person they like, so they're going to tune into WWE and it's going to get extra eyes on the show that
But
way.
he whipped out the three amigos at WrestleMania, and the crowd immediately booed.
Oh, last year? Oh, yeah.
But I mean, he did it. He did it so good.
He
I
did
mean,
it
like Dominic can't do the three amigos that good, and that's Eddie's kid.
The reason why they booed
No,
those,
Eddie's kid.
the reason they booed is you haven't been here and paid your dues enough to do that.
Well,
That's
he
why.
did the whole shimmy, and I mean, and that's when I turned and I started liking him because I thought, man, plus he was good. He didn't do anything to embarrass himself, and also, man, I got stuck after that.
Oh,
Well, I think what you were saying, he's a very unique talent. He is very athletic. He's built. He's tall. I mean, he looks like a superstar. I mean, and when you're like you said, when he's doing these moves, he is doing them correctly. He is not embarrassing himself. He's you feel like even Steve Amell, you feel like he's taken the time. You know, he's not in there like a Snooki or some of the other, celebrities that we've gotten. I mean, it started with Bad Bunny. Like
Yeah.
Bad Bunny was phenomenal, and he was a wrestling fan and he really, worked with what he was doing and he took pride in it. And again, he brought some eyes. Logan Paul's kind of the same way. Plus, Logan Paul is a talker. He's a personality. So
The
you
Royal.
get. Oh, I was just going to
Awesome.
say you're getting the personality that you need to get over, and you're also getting the athleticism that's
Word.
going to bring those hardcore fans who, like you said, he's not paid his dues, but yet he is not out there acting like, ooh, like it's fake or whatever.
He
You know what
went
I'm saying?
live on Instagram before he
Oh, yeah.
wrestled Roman in Saudi. He went live on Instagram, and in less than 2 minutes, he had 75,000 people watching. And
Exactly.
he set his phone down to go to the ring. He left it on live, and that's when the numbers started dropping. But it peaked because I got a notification that he went live, so I went live to see what he was doing. I knew where he was at.
Right.
So I looked and I watched the numbers grow on that live. And if you can pull 75,000 people in 2 minutes,
Mhm.
I just
So, Kaya, are we way off us old fogies here talking about this guy, Logan Paul? You probably know more about what's cool and what's out there than any of us would ever dream of knowing. So, what do you think about Logan Paul?
Well, I think he's I think he's a good wrestler too. I think because there was a lot of few matches that he won against great people.
Okay, so we're not too far off, guys. We're right on it. So cool.
how was the
Okay.
crowd? Was he getting booed or cheered in the arena?
I think she also was trying to tell us. What do you want to say, Kaya?
Oh, I would say gonna say, I think they put Cody in third for the
30th.
because they wanted to have like good audience, so go against freaking Rollins. So I think that's why they put Cody in for that time.
She wanted them to have a little interaction, I guess. So she's trying to get
That's who he's wrestled since he got there.
right.
Yeah, I just think
Makes sense.
we'll go back. I'll just finish this Logan Paul comment. When I talk about the baby face and how he could be, to me, he could be a Hogan. Hogan became a star outside of wrestling. Logan Paul is.
Mm-hmm.
Paul can work a lot better than Hogan ever could, and he's
Wait
had like
now.
wait.
When you get off work, when you get done with this, throw in Hogan in Japan and go watch some Hogan in Japan. He could wrestle.
Can he do a buckshot lariat like we saw him do?
I've seen Hogan in Japan. Logan Paul's better. Logan Paul is a great promo. Logan Paul looks like a wrestler and is ripped. Logan Paul has blonde hair, that baby face Hulk Hogan blonde hair, and Logan Paul has women, I'm sure, that love him. I think it's a babyface combination more than a heel, although I do think he would be a great heel.
And how about that buckshot lariat?
Oh
Yeah.
It's
I mean, that's
seamless.
the
I mean,
second time
he
he's
does it
done
better
it.
than Hangman.
Adam
Yeah.
Page was over there biting his nails at that one. But and to touch on Logan, him and his brother, man. I even tweeted that night, Royal Rumble about his performance. I mean, if you think about him and Jake, I can't knock their hustle.
Mhm.
Like they came in, made a following for themselves, and when they came put up on this main stage, they performed. I mean, just like Jake fighting, like I mean, besides that fight with Floyd Mayweather, the last couple boxing matches he's had, I'm like, okay, let's see if we get some real people. But I mean, same with Logan, that interaction that he had with Ricochet, that was just like seeing that in person. He's like, oh wow. But it
Have
was
you
just like
watched it back since you've been home? I mean,
yeah,
because
I
you got
actually
to see it in person. Like,
right.
what did?
And I was telling my friends, like I've never watched another. Like if I went to the event itself, I never went back and watched it. But this had something said that I need to go back and watch it. When I looked at it on TV, I was like, I did the exact same face, had the same reaction. When I saw it in person, I was like, oh, wow.
And
But
the timing, how perfect did that have to? I mean, that could have been so bad,
yeah.
like if the timing was off and just like you said, it was just an absolute perfect
and
move. It was just amazing.
And I agree with Justin, like he's got something there. I mean, he's definitely like a lot better than what we all anticipated. And I'm starting to see even shades of Mick Foley in him, because if you go back to Saudi Arabia, that spot he did off the turnbuckle onto the tables, stuff like that, and putting his body out there. And with his phone was there as well. I mean, you're putting your body out there, but he's actually like a little bit more talented than Mick was. Yeah, so but I do.
More athletic. I don't know if talented is the word, but definitely more athletic than Mick was. All right. So what was our second match that we had? Was that the
Pitch Black, the Mountain Dew?
Pitch Black match? Okay. And that was the Bray Wyatt and LA Knight match. First of all, I watched this match. Nothing super and memorable or impressive about the match itself, other than just the look of it, the way they lit the ropes, and just really impressive with their production on that. Denovias, I'll start off with you. What do you guys think about that? Watching it in the stadium?
Right. So okay. So for this one, actually, me and Coach went and walked around. Like after what was going on, we was like, let's go watch it from a different angle. We went and walked around because we had the floor seats. So we went around, and then right after they got done with the match, that's when they went ahead and panned into when LA Knight was going over to the side where Uncle Howdy did the little thing. So we were actually watching that from like live right there. It was kind of funny because you had like the Wyatt Six was like right up there at the top of the stage or whatever. It wasn't even the stage. I don't know what it was. It's like a backdrop. They were just hanging out right there. I mean, it wasn't. And so when he did that flip from off there, that was just like, oh crap. That was probably better than actually the match itself, to be honest. I really didn't. The lights were okay, but I liked
Was it hard to see? I mean, for you all watching it at the arena, was that hard to kind of know what was going on because of the black light? What they were trying to do for the fans that were at home watching?
No, it wasn't. I mean, it just, you can still see it up just clear as day. I mean, with it around it. So I don't know what it looked like. I haven't watched that match on TV. I'm still breaking down the Royal Rumble match itself. I haven't seen what it looked like on the actually the TV side. I'm supposed to be in there in person. What did it look like for you, Boogie? Remember the match when it had the little lights at the little yellow and
where it got dark?
Yeah.
I felt like the lights were okay, but I felt like it was but I think they should like add more action in that.
Yeah, more action.
So I think that means that Kaya has given it like one jar. She gave that one jar, I think. Dave, how many jars you giving this match?
2 in a mouthful. I didn't think much of the action as much as the presentation. We satisfied a sponsor and we put on a really cool visual. And maybe 3 because I did pop for the White 6 being there with Uncle Howdy.
I mean, did anyone think LA Knight was going to win this match?
I
No.
did. I told y'all last
I-
week. I thought Uncle Howdy was going to cost Wyatt the match.
Uncle Howdy came in and dropped that bomb at the
I know.
I didn't think that Bray needed it as much as Knight did, and I thought Knight was disposed of rather easily. So
Yeah, it was pretty
really-
quick.
Yeah,
I forgot that you said that, Dave. I need to go back and look at our tally. Maybe I'm not buying the first round. I think Dave might be.
Yeah, I think what Dave said is correct, though. It was a way to get the sponsor over. It was a way to me, it was dang. Notice how I said dang near a squash match. But it's just I thought the visual on TV, I don't know if it was the exact same for Denovias in the stadium, but the visual on TV was fantastic. And we all know WWE does great with their production stuff. But Amy, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you all. I like the whatever was on Bray Wyatt's face. So whenever he was in the black light, it was more of a, whatever he had. But I'm like you said, it was for the sponsor. It was definitely a visual match. I feel kind of bad for LA Knight because it wasn't that. I mean, it was a wrestling match that, like you said, it was kind of a squash match. I mean, he threw out did a toolbox get thrown into the ring?
Yes,
I think so. But like I said, it was there. So
hopefully they'll put LA Knight into some kind of program with someone that actually wrestles. I mean, it's not,
yeah.
Not the gimmick. I'm just sure enough.
Yeah. Also, Mountain Dew Pitch Black, if you want to sponsor the Pondwater Dave show, Amy will come live from a black light next week here on the show. So
What? Maybe we should do a black light with you, Justin Davis.
Well, there's too much evidence around here for that.
That's what I thought.
Quality.
Let's go on to our next match, which is, I believe, for the women's world or the Raw World Championship, whatever they call that. Would that be Bianca Belair and Alexa
Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss?
Yeah,
I
Bianca
think
Belair.
Kaya has a lot to say about this match.
Yes,
I can tell.
Kaya. What do you think about it?
I think it was I liked how Bianca Belair made like a comeback to because last match that she won. So
Yeah.
I think she made like a good. I think she did good quality for the woman.
You know what, Kaya? Always my favorite thing with Bianca Belair matches is I always like to see what colors and her outfit. Do you always like that too? How she always mixes it up with her different patterns and stuff with what she wears.
And I like how she swings her hair.
Of course, we all love how she swings her hair. I think those days are done for Pondwater Dave, myself, and your dad. But maybe one day we'll get to do it.
I'm about 2 shades away from shaving off.
I think too. I think Bianca makes her own outfits too. So I mean, not only is she a talented wrestler, she's also very talented in her presentation, and so she's creating all of that. And I mean, that's amazing in itself.
I am an attire person, and I always like to see what they do, and whether it's guys or girls. And I love watching what Bianca's up to every week. Same way with Charlotte, but I really like to check out what Bianca's doing. Dave, what do you think about this one?
They were going pretty good. I thought that was a good match, and then it was over. Like, bam, it's over.
I kind of thought that too. It seemed like it did end a little bit abruptly.
I was like, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought I think I was the only one that thought maybe Alexa Bliss would win this match. Again, I thought there might be some spookiness, that would have been going on because they're presenting Alexis more with Uncle Howdy also, and so I thought maybe that part
per se. I don't think they were ready to plant the title on her yet until maybe they tell that story a little farther.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It just felt
I'm
like.
gonna. Oh,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Joyce.
Oh, sorry. I feel like, man, I've been saying this for years. They got to add another title, like another women's title. It's just like you got the TVS and you got the women's title. I think for the women's division, you got to have another one at this
Yeah, they
point.
don't have like an intercontinental, do they?
No,
They need to have
they
something
got the
like
tag team titles. And that's it. You got to add another one. Man. You got too
They
much
need to
talent
unify.
out there.
They need to unify the world title, unify
Yeah.
the 2 world titles, and then have a secondary title.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
agree with
I
that.
think that's the right idea too.
See, but see, they say that USA complains that Roman doesn't come over there with they want a champion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then don't let Roman be the champion if he can't go to 2 shows. If you can't work Monday and Friday,
Then you shouldn't
then
be
you
the
can't
double
be the
champ.
world champion. I mean, Ric Flair used to work everywhere, 360 days, 360 times a year. If you're the
Mhm.
champion, you can work 2 shows a week.
Mhm.
I mean, and that's just
Those
That's
days are
how-
over, Dave. Just like
Huh?
those days of walking both ways uphill to school, those days are over too.
if you can't show up for 2, if you can't show up for 2 shows on a regular basis, then you don't need to be champion. I'm not saying you got to wrestle every time, but you come in at least come in.
I agree. I agree with that.
But no, Bianca and Alexa, I gave it 3 jars.
Okay, I was going to ask you what
And
your
I've even gotten a little kick out of this week that they reenacted a scene from Scream.
I saw that scary movie.
Yes,
is
scary
what-
movie.
Scary movie. Yeah, I
They
saw that
reenacted
clip.
it, but the match they had is the same match they reenacted. Somebody synced them up, and they did the same thing. It's really funny. You find it because they put one of them up here in the match, and the spots were the same.
It is pretty interesting. But that's cool that they kind of have those little Easter eggs, in their match. It wasn't the Royal Rumble match, it was a match that they did, right? It wasn't the Royal Rumble match.
I think it was a Raw match.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it was a Raw. Have you seen that, Kaya? Do you do YouTube and Snapchat and all that mess?
Well, I do TikTok and
Mhm.
do
Have you seen that video that we're talking about where it's like scary movie? It's like a zombie and another person and they're fighting, and then at the bottom it's Belair and Alexis, and they're all doing the same moves in the scene.
I think I remember watching that.
Remember, think you seen that?
You probably hadn't seen
popped
Scary
up.
Movie.
It pops up.
Well, yeah, she may not know that. So yeah, that's true. Yeah, I tell you what, I have to be careful on that TikTok because I start laughing or something, and then next thing I know, it's been an hour, and I've been,
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
do the same thing.
watching and
I
laughing.
don't watch TikTok.
It's hot.
TikTok,
I
Dad.
don't have TikTok either, Denovias, so don't feel bad over there.
Man,
All
All
right.
right, my kids in school, they'd be like, "Coach Mack, you seen that?" Like, no.
Oh, I bet.
You know what I love, Denovias, is when you're walking down the highway and you see 2 girls with their phone up and they're going,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
that's what
yeah, they're doing a little damn. Whatever.
it's like, what are you doing?
all the time.
Have you posted any TikToks, Kaya? Do we need to go search you out? Okay.
Uh-oh.
I have 1K likes out of all my videos.
Okay. Okay.
Well, we don't want to share Kaya's TikTok on here, but Amy,
No.
get with it later.
I'll check it out. Yes. No. Sorry.
I'll send it to you.
Yes.
All right.
Don't
so
y'all
let's-
even think about it out there. I'll come get you.
Let's get
Perverts.
to our next match. Was it the
Women's Royal Rumble,
Women's Royal Rumble.
which I will say is the match of the night
I thought so too.
for me.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely very more entertaining, like you said, than
That's
the men's Royal
surprising.
Rumble.
I really enjoyed the finish of it the most. I felt like that was kind of an old school Pat Patterson finish. And let's get them all on the outside, and then she hits her, and then the spit poo, and she fall down, and they all go out. You know,
And a pace.
at a pace.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
So
thought
I
that
love
was,
that. What do you guys think about it?
I like how they. I mean, Rhea keeps being strong. I mean, you can't just keep.
Yep,
She keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that
she's a
part was
star,
good.
bro. She's
Oh,
a
yeah.
star.
I'm glad Chelsea finally made her debut back. And so is Nia Jax. Yeah. I know she was in there for, well, at least she didn't pull a Titus, you know, like, I mean,
I
Right.
like how, you know what though? I like how they did that with what is apparently her character, the bratty rich person that need,
Mhm.
and they build into that by just throwing her out and her complaining and whining about it. I
Oh,
kind of
but
like how they started her out with that character by eliminating her so quickly.
she's going to be doing a Karen gimmick.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she
Karen
even
gimmick.
asked Adam Page if he was the manager the next night. So
It's almost like she walked in and they thought, who does everyone hate? Like, what kind of heel could she be as a female? Everyone hates a Karen. Boom.
Mhm.
I thought we were already
Do
doing
that.
that with Bailey, but okay, let's do it here too.
Mhm.
here goes Kaya when Rhea on. Is she like emo-ish? Rhea Ripley. I'm like, that's a character she played, but she's not real like that in real life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think don't
I
get goth from her as much as I do punk rock.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Something else about that finish while we're talking about it. I was really impressed with her ability, as long as she is, to hang onto that rope and kick her feet without touching the ground, as long as she did, and then
Mhm.
get herself back up. I was impressed with that. That's some athleticism there, because that takes, you hang on that long like that and then get yourself back up over to the apron, and then you got to do the finish. You're probably
Mhm.
spent by that time, and especially being in as long as she was, but she went in first, right?
She went in
Yep.
first.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I just think they did a great job of building her. I told you guys before she won, I thought she was going to win because they seem to be putting a lot of attention on her group, and she's almost kind of the leader of that group. Almost, she almost gets the most TV time out of
She
it.
really
Mhm.
does.
And so I thought, yeah, she's winning, but I was impressed with the way they build her. Like, it seems like I've seen them have people win in the past without much of a build. They just won. The
Mhm.
two people that won this week, there was more of a build of Cody coming back on his win, but uh they built her by having her go first and just kind of dominate the whole thing beginning to end. And like now she's a true threat to win at WrestleMania.
Mhm. I think too. I mean, actually, the last three. I mean, Liv Morgan was also in there for the entire time. She came out as number 2, and Asuka or Kanya. What is she going by? What's the clown? Anyway,
Asuka?
Dark Asuka, whatever it is,
Oh, yeah.
whatever she's calling herself now.
Yeah.
But I really thought, like you said, in order for all of that to work, they all had to really work together. And again, I thought Liv Morgan, she's one of those that I think has probably worked really hard, has been putting some extra time in. They're showing, she won the title, she won the money in the belt, she got the title. I think people were behind her. And so her going as long as she did, I think that kind of shows the company feels like she is something. And then I just don't, I mean, Asuka is amazing. Like, I don't even know, you know, and I think, again, it kind of, as those three interact with each other, you can see different things coming out. Uh, but I thought that one thing I want to ask, especially for you all that were there, was there something, did you all know Nia Jax came out? Like, I feel like there was something odd about her. Either they didn't announce, for us, like the little timer didn't show up or something was off. Do you all remember watching that? Or did you all know number 30
Well,
was coming out or there at the show?
we
They
don't
showed
know.
it.
We don't know what we don't know what y'all can see in the arena because they put so many graphics and
Yeah.
holograms
Yeah.
and stuff on our screen. So we don't know if y'all could see the 30 that we saw.
Yeah, we saw. I mean, they did the countdown for it, and they said
Okay.
number 30. It came up on the
Okay.
jumbotron, whatever they call it.
It was weird on screen. I mean, on screen, there was just, I felt, or maybe I looked away. I don't know. I didn't feel like I realized they were doing a countdown. Did the timer come up on TV for her?
No, not on TV. I don't know TV. No, my son said
Okay.
it TV.
Okay. Cause I was like, I didn't know that she was coming out. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, no. So I just wanted to make sure, like, if that was just a TV thing or if you all had the same experience there too.
Um,
it just in person, like I said, it showed up on there, but I guess
Right.
it didn't show up on I guess TV. So
Mhm.
Dave, you said this was your favorite match of the night. I think it probably was mine too. I'm interested to know how many jars you gave this.
4 and a mouthful.
Oh,
good.
almost 5. That's pretty good.
And
That was.
I really liked that the surprise of Nia Jax at 30. I love Nia Jax. People criticize Nia Jax,
Me
and I already
too.
saw them with, oh, she's back. I can't believe Triple H brought her back. She's going to, the way she hurts people. Y'all can get off of that. Watch an episode of AEW. Somebody hurts somebody every week on AEW, and y'all don't say anything. So go away.
Can I ask something about her hurting people? And I know she has legitimately hurt a few people. Do you think some of that is women just are not used to taking bumps from a woman her size? Like the guys didn't seem to get hurt by Earthquake and Yokozuna. I mean, some people got hurt by Earthquake and Yokozuna, but at some point that's just their size. Do you think she gets a little bit of a bad rap for that, or do you think she's just not a very good worker?
Well, I think when she was hurting people, she was still, I mean, she's still pretty green when she was hurting a lot of people.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
But I think there's a lot of, validity in what you're saying, Justin. It could be. I mean, most women are not the size of Naya, and they're not wrestling women that are the size of Naya, and it could very well be just a uh, reactionary, thing to whoever got hurt or whatever. I mean, the whole thing with Becky Lynch. I mean, they're all in there throwing punches. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really count that as maybe one of them, but it
yeah, I
could
mean,
very well be just green and maybe not being able to uh,
well,
expect that. I don't know.
if you
Sorry.
can't throw a punch, if you can't throw working punches, don't throw punches.
Well,
Right.
sure.
That's the
Right.
thing is they expect them to do things that they're not really good at yet.
I can't do a
Mhm.
backflip, so if I was a wrestler, I'm probably not doing a moonsault off the
But
top.
I don't think
It's just
size
not-
has anything to do with it because look at Abdullah the Butcher.
yep.
Abdullah the Butcher made it look like he was killing folks, and then he was soft as a feather.
Right.
But no, I loved it, and they had already teased us with Beth Phoenix. When Beth came out to get on Rhea, she was in gear.
Mm-hmm.
She was gimmicked up and in gear. So when 30 was about to hit, you just knew that Beth Phoenix was going to come out here and cost Rhea the match. Because then I felt like we're going to go Liv Morgan at this point, or Asuka, because Beth's going to. It makes sense for Beth to come out and cost Rhea because that's the story with her because of Edge, and then bam, it's Nia Jax, and there's a surprise, and that's what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. I thought it was the women traditionally have better matches on any show than the men. That's just the way it's been, and it's been that way for a while. I'm not saying every women's match is that way.
But you know what I think part of it is there, Dave? You have with the women at the top, you have Charlotte, you have Becky, you have Bailey, you have Asuka. These are women that can really work in the ring. Bianca Belair can really work. If you look at the top of the men's, Roman is a great worker, but if you look at the men's, they don't have Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat at the top in their main events. They
don't have to
They
anymore.
have Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, and that's what I'm saying. I think that's why you'll see the women have better matches because
They have Seth
the top-
Rollins and they have Dolph Ziggler and
they do, but they
Cody
don't use
Rhodes when they need
them
to
in-
wrestle.
Yeah, in midcore. Yeah.
I think the best wrestler at the top for the WWE right now is Seth Rollins.
I was gonna say that. I was second that.
And I think
too, but he's not in the main events right now, Denovias. That's my point to that.
But and see, that's why I was so mad about at Royal Rumble. Like I was picking him to win. Like I knew Cody was coming back, but I was picking Seth Rollins because then I started looking at it and I heard something earlier in the week that said that Seth never really got his WrestleMania moment to where he went into WrestleMania to headline it. Of course, we know he came in and stole the title from cash in Money in the Bank, whatever. But he's never been on that marquee draw like Seth Rollins. So I kind of was hoping that they go with him. I mean, dude's a workhorse. He's the next Shawn. I mean, clearly.
He really is. He really is their workhorse. He is the one guy over the last few years that's there at every Raw, every pay-per-view, and he is like you said, they're just whipping the heck out of his rear end right now, in my opinion, and he's doing the job that
He's the next
they need him to do.
next Randy Orton when it comes to workers.
Mhm.
Randy for a while was doing that too.
And and we were talking earlier about that Hogan couldn't wrestle. Hogan didn't have to. He
Right.
could, but he didn't
I
have to.
agree. I agree with
And
that.
Roman's in that. Roman can work.
I know he can.
Roman's doing what's needed of him in the position that he's in right now.
Mhm.
And
I'm not placing
they're
Roman in
booking
a
the top
category.
of the card. They're booking the top of the card good.
I'm not saying they're not, and I'm not even placing Roman in that not great worker category, because I think Roman is. But I'm just saying you're not getting, when you have Lashley and Lesnar, or even Roman and Kevin Owens, you're not getting Flair Steamboat in those matches, is my point.
Right.
No.
And I think too, with the women's Royal Rumble, I think that if you looked at the last 10 entrants that were in the ring, I think that you could have been happy with any one of those 10, whether it be Becky, Charlotte, or Charlotte wasn't in there, but Becky, uh, I can't even think of her name, Bailey, sorry,
Yeah,
I
Lacey
picked Bailey to win it.
Right. So, I mean, like, you could see, it seems like the women, either they have more women that have not interacted with each other. Because, like you said, like, do you want Brock Roman again? Or, I just think for whatever reason, and it could be the two titles. You could see Bianca working with 3 or 4 different girls. You could see, Charlotte having a program with 3 or 4 different people. And so the women's Royal Rumble seemed more exciting because you really didn't know who or what they were going with. Plus, they get to pick. So then there's still, if Charlotte, because I think Rhea Ripley picked Bianca.
Charlotte.
Pick Charlotte. Yeah.
Oh, she picked Charlotte. So now Bianca is open, and it could be a rematch with Alexa Bliss. It could be a Lacey Evans. So, I mean, I feel like you just get a little bit more variety.
I
So,
agree.
I don't know.
I think it needs to be Bailey.
I think it should be Bailey. I agree with Dave there.
Or Asuka.
With Bianca.
Yeah, I think Bailey's the pick just because that group's already kind of fighting. So I think Bailey is the pick there.
I wanted if Bailey won, I knew that Bailey and Charlotte was going to be a great match.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that if Asuka won, that would be a great WrestleMania rematch with Charlotte, because Charlotte made her tap.
Mm-hmm.
I think Asuka's past due to have some success on the main roster. But also, I'd like to see Bianca and Charlotte, because the last time I saw Bianca and Charlotte, Bianca wasn't ready. And being in there with Charlotte exposed Bianca, because Bianca wasn't ready yet. She's come. I mean, this is 3 years later now, and she is ready. I want to see that match.
I think the match I'd like to see is Bianca and Asuka. I think that one would be good.
I think it would be a great match for WrestleMania.
Well,
because we've already seen Bailey.
Yeah.
Right. But just what you were saying, I actually could say, well, now we're going to get it now, but Charlotte and the bad Asuka, would be a really interesting match to watch, because exactly what you said, Asuka tapped out to Charlotte, but now this is a whole different, this is the next level Asuka. And so I would really like to see Asuka and Charlotte do something, whether that's SummerSlam or whatever. It'd be interesting to see.
And we still have the Elimination Chamber coming, so we don't know
who's going to be.
Yeah, 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Let's move on.
They defend the championship in the Elimination Chamber. That could change the whole complexion of WrestleMania.
Yeah. Let's move on to our next match, because Kaya has bedtime coming up. Well, no, she don't, because she ain't got school tomorrow. Snow day. We're gonna go to our next match, which is I think it was Roman, right?
Yep, Roman and Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens for the heavyweight championship of the world, all 2 of them. And this was, this match ended how we all expected. with Roman winning in relative easy fashion. The ending was what we were all hoping for. And I want to get all your reactions to that. And Denovias and Kaya, I'm going to start with you. And I will be listening to you all, but I'm going off of camera because I'm taking a pee break, Jones. See how I'm getting this 13 PG-13 this, Dave? Pee
Mhm.
break, Jones.
You just could turn off your camera and then I would have edited it in.
All right, so we're
Now
gonna
you
get
deprived
Denovias.
me of-
Okay.
Nope.
And
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I think okay for me it was the ending was just too long.
Mhm.
Aftermath part of it, I mean, that was just too excessive. I mean, we knew what was gonna happen, but that was just too much. And but I did like the dynamic with Jay walking away. Like, I mean,
Yes.
that's something. And then you know, I thought that maybe somebody would have came out. Maybe Cody would have came out to help Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens as opposed to them getting plastered in the ring. And then also at the end, you know, the last bit of what Roman whispered to Solo, he said, you know, take no prisoners, or what
Yeah.
line he used or whatnot. Yeah, we're at war now, or you know, so that just I'm eager to see what they're gonna do with the titles. I mean, are they gonna with the tag team titles? Is it gonna be Solo and Jimmy now? Because I don't think that
they're gonna be like Demolition and have three. But
Right.
I agree with you. Everyone was waiting for someone to come out, but I think if someone would have come out, you wouldn't have got the whole Jay thing at the end. I think that
Right.
was
Right.
prolonged.
Yeah, that was
Well-
a good part of it right there. So, because I mean, like you said, The Rock's mom was there, so you're like, okay, maybe he comes out the end, even though he's not gonna be in the room, maybe. But I mean, that the way that Jay went off, I mean, that sets it up.
My whole problem with that is what did security get off work at 11? I mean, because they're Johnny on the spot. You let two women start fighting. Here comes the back room full of security. Adam Pearce is out there, the referees. But I mean, they're committing a crime in the ring. They've got him handcuffed up. They're beating him senseless.
Right.
And nobody's coming. And the continuity that blows me away, and it took away from it. I mean, they should at least had somebody trying.
It did.
Have him come out. Solo could have been.
Yeah.
Solo's a one-man wrecking crew. He could have been holding everybody off. And that would have made a little bit more sense to me. Because this beating went on for so long that it distracted me. Like, because where are they?
Yeah.
Right.
But then it also plays into the whole notion that the bloodline has been taking out the locker rooms, you know, week after week after week. So they're like, why would we want to dip our nose into this?
Yeah,
I mean,
why would we help Sami Zayn? And I think it kind of shows storyline. It's like ain't nobody gonna come out there and help them. Let them deal with their crap and
But Adam Pearce isn't scared of anybody.
Yeah, true. And he didn't even step up, right?
I'm not saying send the locker room, send all those, send all the security, the black shirt securities. Solo.
Now, let me ask you this question. And I mean, I know it sounds silly, but what would you have thought if they would have sent out security with that long ramp, you know, the long entrance that they had? It would look really
I
funny.
wanted to bring that
You know what I'm
up.
saying?
I'm glad you said that, Amy, because I wanted to bring that up earlier. Was that not one of the longest runs to the ring in Royal Rumble history?
Oh,
It felt like they had to run like a 400-yard dash out there.
Right?
I mean, I just think the optics of the, you know, like them all running down and like literally having to take 3 minutes. I don't know if they kind of said, you know, that optics is going to look funny, so let's just not do it. I don't know, because I agree. Like, why is nobody came out to help? But then you're thinking, like you said, they're going to have to run the length of a football field, and it will look kind of weird.
Well,
so
I mean,
I
they
don't
got to
know.
get out there. They got to get out there some kind of way.
I mean, it was so long
Well, yeah,
that Booker got out there, he would start limping halfway through the end. No walking for me.
But
yeah,
but
jogging. You know, I don't know.
But I'll still give it 3 stars because we told a story. It did what it needed to do. You know, I'm kind of disappointed because I don't think it needed to come to a head yet. I really don't think Sammy. I don't really think Sammy needed to. I think Sammy should have grabbed the chair and smashed KO with it. I think Sammy should have been all in on being the bloodline, and Jay still could have left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the swerve.
I didn't think it'd be this early.
Then make Jimmy choose, and if Jimmy leaves with him, then you bring in Fatu. Bring in Jacob Fatu.
Yep.
Roman ain't never losing the title if Jacob Fatu comes in.
Yeah. Him and
I
Solo
did-
alone. We don't need you.
That's right. I
have-
do like. Oh, go ahead, Kaya.
It was kind of interesting to me because I had a feeling that Sammy would win
Mm-hmm.
the match, and
You mean KO win the match?
KO.
Too confused.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I saw John Hicks's sons were all asleep. So the fact that you stayed up and watched the match, I'm impressed.
And the fact that
Well,
she stayed up here and listened to us drone on for an hour and a half is pretty incredible too.
That's true.
I kind of was confused with the matches.
She at the end
What
of
were we talking about?
that match, we actually had to leave because she started to feel a little ill. So we
Mhm.
watched it back at the hotel room on the iPad.
I don't blame you. I bet so. That's a long time.
So you think we're talking about the Royal
Oh!
Rumble? No, the women's match.
The last, no, thought we were talking about the last one, the last match.
So we're
That's-
talking Roman Reigns and Kevin
yeah,
Owens.
that's what I saying.
Yeah, you were asleep at that. We were at the hotel room.
Oh,
Sorry.
Hard to remember when you're sleeping, Dad. I mean, come on.
Well,
But
altogether,
overall,
oh, go ahead.
go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
I give it 3 jars. It's a 3-jar pay-per-view.
That's what I was going to ask you. What would you give the overall pay-per-view? See, I think it's a better pay-per-view than 3 jars. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go 4. I thought it was a decent Royal Rumble.
Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because the women's match was the only good match to me. The men's match, I knew Cody was going to win. And if you'd put him in earlier, and at least he gave me a good show, but he showed up 30th. It's like that was a good housekeeping match. Not like China's good housekeeping, but I'm saying it was a housekeeping match that you had to do that because we're going somewhere.
Yeah.
And the other matches, the women's match ended abruptly. The Mountain Dew match was what it was. And the big lack of continuity finishing out the night with the bloodline, for me, it was 3 jars.
I think that's where we disagree. I like the ending a lot more than you did. I think that's why I give it 4, because I think the storytelling in the bloodline at the end was really good for me.
Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, like I really love how I guess committed Solo is to Roman. You know, like he does not waver. Like he's he's the one he turned to and said, we're at war. Solo was gonna, if Roman had told Solo when they did the trial on Raw, like if he was ready to do what Roman said, regardless of who it was.
He's
so
Roman's
I think that's going to
killer.
be
Yeah.
I really think that's going to be an interesting as it goes on. That person is going to be interesting to see if they continue, or if if he continues to be faithful, or because Solo is the twins' brother, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now you have identical brothers that are.
But you feel like Solo's more connected to Roman than he is to his own 2 brothers in a way.
Right.
See, I think this is what I mean about the storytelling at the end. I thought it was fantastic.
Yes.
Did I think it lasted long? Kind of, but it almost had to show the disparity that was going on with the group at the time.
Yeah, they'd have just had somebody trying to stop it. If somebody was just trying to stop it, I would have enjoyed it so much more.
I think they didn't have anyone stop it because they didn't need anyone to stop it. They needed to show the inner turmoil more than.
Why did they need to stop it every other time it happens?
Because that's the build up to this, I think.
Yeah, but I was saying if somebody gets into it, they're out there. Adam Pearce is trying to get them to stop.
Do they do that for
anything? They had no problem coming out there
Bloodline?
getting Brock.
I'm gonna go with
Brock Lesnar.
I'm gonna go with what you had said. It's just too long of a runway for all of them to run over and stop it.
But the most important rating I want to hear is from Kaya, because hers is the only one that matters.
Yep.
How did you like it?
Out of 5 jars, which one?
One
Five
being
is
the
the
worst,
best.
5 being the
Five's the
best.
best. Zero's the worst.
I think that I think it was like maybe I think it was maybe like 4.9.
There you
There
go.
we go. She's
Awesome.
playing that Price is Right again. She's
There
just
you go. You put it in her head, Justin. You put it in her head. You're there.
And you can't ask for more than that. And that's that. If we talk to her 20 years from now, she's gonna remember Royal Rumble 2023.
Right.
Well, when you were talking, Dave, earlier about watching wrestling with your grandkids, and of course, Denovias watching it with Kaya, and I don't get to do this, but I'm jealous of you guys because you get to do something that's cool. You get to watch wrestling with your kids, your grandkids, and see it through their eyes, which is the same eyes of why we fell in love with it, right? The young eyes. And that's what's fun to see, I think, and I'm so glad, Kai, that we had you on here with us to talk about it. It's awesome that you're a young wrestling fan and you made your podcast debut. How about that? You're a big time star now. You've been on a podcast. That's pretty cool. I was never on a podcast when I was
That's right.
9, but of course there was none at the time, but let's
I
not.
was just saying,
Um,
Pondwater Dave's kind of a big deal. So,
that's
Kaya,
right.
we're excited to have you on here with us.
So, Amy, what kind of grade would you give the pay-per-view? What do you think about it?
I think I probably would have gone in the middle, like 3.5 jars. I agree with what Dave was saying. I thought the women's match was the best. I did like what they did with Gunther, and I like that in the men's Royal Rumble. I kind of wonder. I think Denovia said it, or somebody did, about maybe Cody did come back a little bit too soon because of it being the Royal Rumble, and to eliminate any potential. I mean, he did get into it with Gunther at the end, but I mean, maybe to eliminate any possibility of injuring, they made him come out at 30. Plus, at 30, I mean, he gets the big entrance. I mean, he needed to be either 1 or 30 to end up to get that big entrance that he has. Um, I could have probably done without I like the Mountain Dew match, like the aesthetics of it. I could
Yeah,
have done without seeing all that.
right.
I like the KO, and I like the Bloodline. Again, it's like watching our soap operas, right? Our stories. And
That's
now
what
we
it's supposed to
see,
be.
yeah, now we see, oh my God, the family's breaking up. And
Yeah.
so I'm interested to see how Jay goes, and Jimmy, and what does Solo do, and how is Roman going to take this, and who knows? Nia's back, and Tamina was in the Royal Rumble. Like, they
Wouldn't
might
that be
get
interesting
involved.
if Nia joins the group? That would be
I'm
crazy.
right. I mean, there's,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to kind of see what all goes on with this bloodline and where we end up. I don't like that Elimination Chamber is literally 3 weeks from the Royal Rumble. I don't feel like,
A little soon, it seems like.
it does, especially if they're talking about having Sammy and Roman in a match, or what they're planning on doing. It
They're
just
gonna have
kind
to fall
of,
on Raw and SmackDown for the next few weeks if they're gonna do that.
right. So I don't, but whatever. I'll go in the middle.
I got you. I agree.
I'll go in the
I can
middle.
see that. Denovius, what do you think, buddy?
I'm gonna agree with Amy on this one. I'm gonna go with 3.5 because the reason is I think that for me, the men's Royal Rumble, the big standout too is still Gunter. I mean, the guy from start to finish. I mean, like I said, I've been a fan of his. It shows his versatility. And the whole Cody thing. Well, like Pondwater, we want him coming in at 3, but if you come in at 30, you got to make an impact. I compared it to John Cena when he came back in Madison Square Garden at number 30. However, Cody did do more than John Cena did at 30. If you think about it, he was in there a little longer, took a lot of bumps, especially
And he actually had a wrestling finish with the guy that finished number 2 instead of just you get there and you dump him or whatever.
Right.
He kept Gunther strong.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And it showed, like you said, Amy, it was more like a wrestling match as opposed to going over the top, like them two together. Like that dynamic and chemistry there is just
I agree
unfazed.
with that.
Now the Mountain Dew match, seeing it in person, like I said, the lights was cool. However, I liked the aftermath, the post match, as opposed to the match itself. Like getting to see all that, And then the women's, that's probably the best match on the card. Like the women's Royal Rumble, that's probably the best women's Royal Rumble I've seen in a minute. You know, it made made Rhea. So her coming in number one, she made history, which was great for her. I mean, she's doing top-notch stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The bloodline match, we knew how it was going to end as far as like Roman winning, but I feel like they could have shortened that whole beating up part. They could have cut that down some, you know.
I don't know if this is a good comparison, but you know who I compare Rhea to? Vader, if they could have known what to do with Vader. Like, she's that big monster heel for females, and they know what to do with her, and they're putting her in the right spot. I feel like Vader could have done that for him. They just weren't sure what to do with him when they brought him in. But I feel like they're making her that big monster heel with as many face champions that they seem to have right now. They need a big female heel that I think they push that here the right way.
I agree with that part. And I would say on the caliber of Vader, the one star that they have that they really don't utilize as much when he's starting to come back into his own is Otis. I mean, you think about these guys,
I love Otis.
They are athletic. Yeah.
He is
so
he's thicker than a ham patty, bro. Like
I feel like Otis is back on track to be like Otis used to be.
Yeah, because he's doing a little, going around.
I think they kind of like it's time for you to quit being so uptight, Otis, and be more fun, Otis, again.
I think what also helps Rhea is that you have a roster of women that are very athletic versus, and
her
again,
taller. She's almost like the Sid Justice of the group.
Let me tell you about her genius, though, when you think about it.
But she's just taller and bigger than them, kind of, in a way, where they're doing like the athletic stuff. I think, Amy, what you're saying, she's like, no, I'm just going to beat you up, kind of.
Well, but I just even mean like aesthetically watching, like it's like when China was wrestling, like she's picking up Ivory, who is a very talented wrestler, but Ivory is 110, 5'2", the cat. I mean, she did not have, I don't want to say competition. I think that it's more, you see her getting in there, mixing up with women that
don't look like her.
Right, that are very athletic and that, and she's dominating them. So it's, to me, that's a little bit more than I'm dominating the cat. You know what I'm saying?
No,
also, I like with Rhea, she gets in there with the men because of this, of Judgment Day.
Yeah.
And the ones that she does jump in front of, she could totally take. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's very, very believable in like you said, what in the way that she is being presented and who she's being presented with. Like you said, she is wrestling Liv Morgan, but she was also, there to take on Nia Jax. And so, I think that's what makes Rhea more presentable as that monster, because she really is taking on all types. And so
she won the title before.
Yes, Charlotte beat her. Well, no, she's the NXT.
Okay. Charlotte beat her. I couldn't remember. So, in my opinion, she's winning the title at WrestleMania.
I think so.
No doubt.
Yeah. So
Charlotte's going to make it.
Yeah.
All right, totally. Guys. I know I don't want to keep.
One last point about Rhea Ripley.
Yes, go ahead.
Rhea Ripley used to have long blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful young woman.
Yep.
And she changed her entire look but think how genius that is, because
it's great.
She looked like Charlotte. She looked like Liv. She looked like Lacey Evans.
Now she looks like a heel, which is what she needs to look like.
Now she looks like Rhea Ripley, like you said.
I mean, she found some place to go that there wasn't already taken.
Yep.
So that's the genius of it. I mean, I don't know if that's the lifestyle she lives, because that's quite a commitment to put those gauges in.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, she's got multiple tattoos and piercings, so I wouldn't doubt that was something that maybe she's interested in. So I mean,
it almost reminds you of like a Marilyn Manson gimmick in a way, but
she can work.
Mm-hmm.
She can absolutely. I think I tried to talk about that with just her athleticism, holding on to that rope for as long as she did with her feet dangling.
Exactly.
But to me, that's working, and that's working really good. So I'm super impressed.
Her match with Charlotte at WrestleMania, when Charlotte beat her for the NXT Championship, was a good match.
Mhm.
a really good match. Charlotte didn't eat her up. I mean, Charlotte beat her, but
Yeah.
so I expect big things from this match at WrestleMania this time, and it's going to be
I'm
quite an event, I believe.
I do too. I'm
Definitely.
excited for it. I want to say I'm excited that we had Kaya and Denovias on with us this week. Thank you guys so much for coming on. It was really a pleasure. Kaya, we really appreciated your young aspect on the wrestling world today. We appreciate you for coming on with us. And hopefully you'll have a snow day on Friday too, and you just don't have to go back this week. How about that? Denovias
Hey.
is always, buddy. We appreciate you coming on here.
Oh man, it's always a pleasure. I appreciate you guys and rooting for you all. So
Thank you
Well,
so
and-
much, Kaya. I can't thank you enough for coming on and talking about what happened. I mean, at the Royal Rumble, and Denovias. I love you, brother. I can't thank you enough.
Oh yeah.
I mean, y'all. I don't know if I hadn't ever
You've told
on
this.
this
You've told
podcast.
this story. You've told this story, but you need to tell it again.
Man, when I got done at rest, I was on cloud 9 at Ric Flair's last match, and Denovias was backstage and with me, and he came up to me, and he knows I have a Ric Flair wall, and he knows that I have. I mean, I'm still on cloud 9 from what I just done with Ric Flair's last match, and I mean, he showed me so much kindness, and he gave me one of his ringside chairs, and I'll never forget it because I mean I was floored. I mean, I thought I'd already used up all the emotion I could use for the night, and there was some more. But I mean, I value your friendship, and I can't thank you enough for coming on tonight.
Oh man, it was a pleasure, man. You know I love you, man. It was just a humble, just to go without saying gesture. I think about when I get out the hospital after having coronavirus whatnot, and I come home and I see this package from Pondwater Dave, and it literally has Pondwater inside of a jar. Had some other things like keychain and stuff. I was just like, man, it's just
A dead goose was in there.
Really. Note to self: Pondwater is a terrible gift giver. He gives jars of water. No.
But it was just the little things, you know. Like I was just eternally grateful. Like I mean, here we are. I've been on the show when they were Sad News Bears once, and here I get this when I come out the hospital. So I mean, and I had it right there. He deserved that chair more than anybody, you know, to be there and have his idol, his GOAT, his 1A.
That's right. But you know, Denovias, that's not the only time I've heard of you doing gracious acts of those things. And that's why I know you're a good man. And that's why I was really happy when they told us that we were going to have you on with us this week. So, like I said, we really appreciate it. Dave, did you want to say one more thing?
Well, another thing is at the wrestling showcase, I needed a referee shirt. Nobody go get me a referee shirt, and he walked over to and that was quite a haul to go get me a referee shirt because it was up to showtime. It was up to showtime, and I mean,
where did you have to go to get the shirt?
Remember the hotel we were staying at? I went across the street to Academy. That was right by the mall, but I mean, it was all the way like on the.
Oh my gosh, really? I remember. I mean, I know where that mall was and stuff. That's hilarious.
But he finally had to take it on himself to go get it for me because I brought the shirt they told me I brought the kind of shirt they wanted us to referee in, and then it was some of the older referees said I ain't wearing that. So now we're going back to stripes. Well, I brought what he told me to. I brought what he told me to bring, and I didn't bring my stripes, which is on me because I should always have my stripes with me. But
that is on you, Dave. I've got about 8 pairs of stripes. At Top Guy Weekend, I'm going to throw 2 pair in extra just in case you screw up again. You never know.
But he showed up, and it was. I mean, just such a big part of
yeah.
I mean, he was
like the cherry on top. It was the cherry on top of your weekend, man. And that was
so. Next time I come to Dallas, we need to get together and have a meal.
Definitely. No, we're there. Kaya's.
And if y'all ever want to, if y'all do some traveling, come on. We're only 6 hours from you, so.
Hey, we're always down with
bring the family and come to Mississippi.
Yeah. Come out there.
All right.
So I was like,
yeah. Hey, Kaya, just so you know, if Dave comes to Dallas, you're paying. because he's cheap. So just letting you know that right now.
Her mom goes, Kai is cheap too. So
Don't ever trust anybody wears sunglasses indoors.
That's right. I wear my sunglasses at night so I can. And on that, we
Don't
want to
worry.
say, go
None
ahead,
of
Kyle.
us have to pay. He's gonna pay.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
hey.
That's right. Dad can pay. Dad always pays, don't he, Kaya? One way or another, at least.
Right. I appreciate
All
you guys.
right, guys. We hope you enjoyed our Royal Rumble review. We hope you listened to the After Mag chats with Pondwater Dave and the great Bill Apter as they talked about the original Nature Boy, Buddy Rogers, this week on the ad-free show. So if you haven't heard that, check that out. It is really amazing. Some of these, man, we talk about 80s and 90s wrestling. If I hear one more show on the Montreal Screwjob, I'm going to puke. But we don't hear anything from Buddy Rogers and some of these guys that Dave is letting you hear from on the After Mag chat. So please go check that out every other Monday on adfreeshows.com. We would like to thank all of you for coming and joining this, our 13th episode. We want to thank, of course, Denovias and Kaya for joining us. And with that said, for Dave Miller, for Amy Vaughn, for Denovias and Kaya, Mac, we will see you next week. Peace and love, everyone.